I hope you had lunch. Not a heavy one because you'll fall asleep. Okay, it's like me. Every time I have heavy lunch, when you stay at home all the time, you tend to fall asleep. That's a problem. Okay, today I think I'm not sure whether I think Ms. Chu mentioned that most of you have attended my session back in April, isn't it? Which was about communication effectiveness. Today, I'm going to cover on creative strategy, how to develop a creative strategy to come up with a very creative ad and all those stuff. Okay, but yeah, it is somehow almost in the same line as what I shared in April, but I'll go through it again with a slight depth and also in terms of touching into the execution bit of it, because this one is more of a strategy. Yeah, because you need to write a creative strategy, but where does the creative strategy comes from, and how does it go into the creative team to be able to develop content or any communication for that matter? Okay, if you're going into an ad agency, most ad agency, especially the multinational ones, they have what they call it, proprietary tools. They have a system in terms of coming up with a strategy for the creative team to come up with a creative or effective communication or ad or content or whatever you may call it. Okay, the last time those 2 decades ago, it used to be only advertisements, which is very basic: TV, radio, billboards, and pre-nets and newspaper ads. Now it is much complicated because of the new media and the new medium and the new way of how you communicate. Because when you talk about conventional media, it is easy. Billboard is for reminder, you know, those kind of things. So you don't have to have plenty of words. You don't put a leaflet onto a billboard because people don't have time to read. When people drive through a billboard, they only have a maximum of 4 seconds to capture. So better have 3 or 4 words only. Those kind of things, you know, those are the rule of thumb that we follow. It still applies today, but in terms of TV, is something that you can have that visual effect, you can have that, you know, the sound and all the stuff. Whereas for radio, you can have that sound effects, which gives more opportunity for creative people to expand their idea of going beyond whatever TV can produce. You see, because if you want to show a war or an earthquake, you have to shoot when you show it on TV because it's going to be very expensive. On radio, you can play with the sound effects, those things. So these are how we use medium to be able to translate our communication messages to make a point or to make it impactful for the consumers to listen, basically. So it's the same thing. So now with social media, people use words. Sometimes, you know, social media, it is more interactive. It is no more a you know what, one way communication. Then a couple of decades ago, it was one-way communication. Advertisers say whatever they want to say. So consumers, something like got no choice, have to listen to whatever they have to say because they don't interact. They cannot comment back. They cannot go back to TV and say something because there was no social media. Okay, so it was much easier then. Now, you say one wrong word, you're going to get slammed by almost everybody in the whole country, those things. So it is more dangerous in that context. So you want to be creative, sometimes there's a lot more claim to be creative people out there will have comments on your work or whatever it is. So so it is much more important to be able to draw the line in terms of where your brand wants to go, what you want to claim, what do you want to say, how do you want to say it, be sure to whom you say it, those things. Those have to be very, very careful in that context. This is part of the strategy which we learned decades ago. It still applies. At the end of the day, strategy remains. But how do we apply the strategy is based on the current trend or time or whatever you call it. All this thing you see on the left side of the screen is, like Bates Malaysia, they call it change point planning or a brand brief. BBDO, now BBDO have closed down. Something like a few months ago, they just closed down. They couldn't survive. And the work. Bozell Worldwide also gone already by now. This agent, I was in this agency like 3 decades ago, so it was Euro RSCG. Future Brands is from India. They have Hofstede, they have Framework. Grey Malaysia, they have Brand 8. J. Walter Thompson, JWT now is called something, I'm not sure. There's another name. Somebody just bought them over out of New York. Then Johan Design Associate, Low and Partners. These are all the advertising agencies. And the agency I spent most time was with McCann Erickson, the selling strategy, the AdWorks. And then my last job was in Publicis Malaysia, La Holistic, which is the holistic in French. Okay, it is based in Paris. Again, Sachi is the mark. Okay, so this is something familiar, which I've already shared back in April, but I want to go through it again because it's important, as I already mentioned just now. Rapid development of new media has thrown new challenges to brands in the context of marketing communications. Brand constantly seek new ways to engage with the consumers, not only in the new media, more importantly, the relevant content that goes with it. So that, like I said, whatever you say, you have to be really careful because some brands don't advertise anymore, but they communicate through their page, Facebook, and they communicate through, they use influencer. And sometimes the danger of losing influencer, if influencer is in trouble, they'll drag your brand down with you. Those things you have to learn. So to maintain the brand values, basically, whatever they do, whatever company does right now is to be able to maintain their brand values, to maintain their identity or strengthen it, basically, based on what they stand for, those kind of things. So I've always reiterated that brand positioning or brand central idea is key in whatever you do to communicate what your brand does, okay? Even in the creative strategy. So what is creative strategy? You ask anybody, they have a lot of other ways of explaining it. This is how I would explain it. This is how we do it day in, day out during my career. A definition sometimes called communication. Some people call it communication strategy. Some people call it advertising strategy. Some people call it a play brief, depending on which agency you are. If you go into a multinational agency, you learn the proprietary tools that I mentioned, which is this one. They will have a system in terms of understanding the client objective, understanding what the brand has to deliver, knowing what to understand, because they will teach you that. Because each of them they will give training. JWT gave me training everywhere just to understand their T plan. McCann Erickson sent me all over to understand to plan, because at the junior level there is one system, the medium level there's one system, and the management level the system. Because I've gone through in McCann Erickson, I spent 12 years there in one agency at the somewhere in Manila, and then at the senior management level I was sent to New York. Those things, these are serious business for these companies now, but I don't know whether they do it still now. I'm not sure, because they're not as big as we were when I was there, when we were in the industry now. Okay, so the creative strategy definition is like communication strategy or advertising or plain brief. It's a concept direction for creative execution and tactics, to provide a guide for the creative team. Basically, the creative team will comprise of art director, the copywriter, the designer, everybody over there, to create an advertisement or a campaign. This is to give them the perimeter, what you should say in terms of the ad. Just don't come up simply say something which doesn't mean anything what the brand has to stand for, because the client will give you a proper brief, okay, whether this is a launch of a new product, whether this is a launch of a new range, whether this is whether this is a promotion, or whether this is a sale, or whether, just to strengthen, whether this is an image driven campaign, or whether this is finishing stock. There's a lot of ways of how you say it. Okay, what we always see is simple, basic sale, 9.9 sale, and then next month it becomes 11.11, and 10.10, 11.11. So every month we got sale. So there's somebody just created something, and then it followed through, and then until it became so normal, so it doesn't create enough interest anymore. Because every month, I remember now online they started with Shopee 7.7, now 8.8, 9.9. That is a monthly sale to me. Everybody is claiming the same thing. So, but that will be given by the client to be able to, for you to come up with a strategy. Because our role as an advertising agency is come up with a strategy to communicate effectively and creatively. Okay, so the effective of communication we already discussed back in April. Okay, in simple terms, it's a guiding principle to develop a content. Okay, but the guiding principle there are science behind it. Like I shared, the proprietary tools. There are the ways in terms of how they make you understand of what to say and what not to say, basically. Okay. First and foremost, you have to understand the client's brief. Okay. Client say, I have a new range of product, depending on what client you're working with. Okay, if I cite one example with my previous client, well, like Nestle. Nestle got hundreds and thousands of products. Okay, with different brands. When you talk about food, they have a product, kitchen whatever food, they have product, they have brand, Maggi brand. Under Maggi, they have ketchup, they have ketchup, they have soy sauce, they have Maggi mee, they have all those things. Maggi. And then under Nescafe is all about coffee. And then another drink is Milo. And the milk is Nespresso. So those are the brands. Each brand will have a meaning of what they stand for. This is when you're talking about big brands. Okay. When I get a brief from Maggi to be able to launch new noodles. What type of noodles? This is not 2-minute noodles. This is like mee goreng. How do you do mee goreng when it's dry? Those kind of things. How do you deliver the message? Yeah. How do you soften it before you goreng? Or do you need to goreng? Or to fry? When you call it mee goreng, or you just dip into hot water, it becomes soft and then it's treated like mee goreng. Those things you have to understand to be able to communicate, because you cannot be writing a whole 10 paragraph of things in an ad. Those kind to be able to let them know. At the same time, you have to deliver the message of deliciousness, or deliver the message of nutritiousness. All those things you need to deliver into one ad. How do you do it, basically? That's how you form a strategy in terms of how do you find the consumer who want to work with it. When client created a brand, a product like that, is based on what the consumer would need. So find out from them, what do the consumer need? Why do the consumer need this? You don't go question them, because people like Nestle, they just don't simply create a product. It's based on research. That research needs to be shared by you. Then be shared with you, basically. That's what we normally do. Okay, clients share research. If they don't share research, then it's very difficult. They're not your partners, because we are treated as partners, and they share everything. Of course, they won't share the secret in terms of how they develop the product, but they will share this. They will share the reason why we need to produce this, because there's a demand. So we can use that element, we can use that fact to be able to sell back to the consumer, because it's convenient, because it's this, because it's that, all those things, those kind of things that you always hear a message from an advertisement. It is because of that, because the demand comes back from the consumer, basically. It's not that they create a product based on shock sendiri, basically. Okay. So when they give clients brief, they always have the objective. It has to be very specific, the objective. The objective is to launch a new product. The objective is to launch a new range. The objective is to be able to revive a dying brand, a dying range, those kind of things. Objective is to do sale. Objective is, there's plenty of reasons, you know. It has to be specific. You cannot simply say, oh, I can just create an ad. Why? Why do you want to create an ad? Why do you want them to buy? Why? Because of what reason? Because the sales are low. Okay, so what do we need to do? When the sales are low, maybe do we give a promotion? Do we give a discount? Or do we buy two, get three, get one free? All those things they will have in their objectives. The client will give you. Okay? If the client doesn't have this, don't work with them. That's all my advice I can say. Because you make your work difficult. Then you come up with 10 ideas. You say, yeah, it's not right, because they don't know what to do. Because they don't know what they want. Okay? If client doesn't know what they want, they don't have an objective. They don't have a specific objective. And then with that objective, what do they want to achieve? Because the sales are low, I want to increase back the sales again. What do they want to achieve out of this campaign, basically? So if they want to achieve that, then it's very much clearer in terms of how do we communicate. Find a relevant idea that the consumer will be attracted to, something like that. So that gives you that's what we need to understand in order to have this relationship with the client. Because we have a meeting with the client, when they brief us, we have to ask all these questions. Because when you advertise, the consumer may not have you in front of them to be able to ask what can this be done, what cannot be done. But at least that communication has to answer the basic part of it. Yeah, well, now with social media, it can ask you immediately, basically. So, but the main thing, the first thing that comes out, if they read one sentence or 3 words, whatever, they already understand what you're trying to do, to offer to them. That is how effective communication will have to be in advertising, because we don't have full book or leaflet to be able to explain to them. You know, you will drop a leaflet in your mailbox, you will throw it away, basically. It is based on the strategy, delivering this and this only. You know, when they say this, you have to deliver that. Sometimes you give to a creative team, they like to come up with something really creative to win awards. Most of the time, it's got nothing to do with whatever that we're going to sell, and it got nothing to do with the product or with the brand, basically. You know, it's just a clever ad, basically. So be careful of that, because then gone were the days where ideas just pop like a light bulb. You know, people say, oh, let me think about it, let me sleep on it. All of those BS. You know, you have to think strategy. You have to understand your consumer. You have to understand the client's objective. Client wants this. Okay, how do we do this? Okay, when we offer this kind of product, or we offer this kind of service, which part is the most consumer like most that they want to have? Why do they want to have that? Think like a consumer, because all of us are consumers. Okay, I always say that every morning you wake up, you always look at your phone, and then you go to the toilet, you brush your teeth, you take a toothpaste, and then you shower, you use shower cream, shower gel, or shower bath gel, and then your shampoo. They are all branded. They are all brands. From your phones, it's either be it Oppo or Samsung or Apple, and then you go to the toilet, you take your toothbrush, it could be Oral-B, it could be Colgate, and then your shampoo, it could be Rexona, it could be whatever. But they are all brands. We interact with brands. When we buy, we make a choice. What do we choose? We choose brands without realizing it. We always say, oh, this one is better than the other, better. Because why? Because these are the information that you are going to drum into the consumer's mind every day. to get it stuck in their mind that this is what I like. You know, an idea doesn't come first. You know, don't come up with a client say, I want to do a campaign or sale. Oh, let's come up with an idea. No, why is it? Why does a consumer want to come and buy you? Why does 5% going to be attractive enough for them? You know, why does 90% is not going to be attractive? Is it believable that 90%? Do you think you can produce a product within 3% of the cost and then make profit another 2% and sell discount 90%? That means they know that all this while you being you have conned them, you know, in terms of selling it to overly expensive until you can afford to give 90%, unless you say it's closing down sale, clearance. But normally people say clearance and then tomorrow they open again. So that also has got credibility, because these are the kind of people that destroys the advertising reputation, because they don't follow ethics, you know, especially now. Since 15 years ago, since the social media came back, nobody follow advertising code of ethics. Did you know that there is a Malaysian advertising code of ethics gazetted in 1960 something, which we have been using? It stopped when the social media came in, because we cannot, because there's no enforcement. Last time enforcement was by the Ministry of Information. Everything that goes out, Ministry of Information, everything that goes out on the billboard, the Dewan Bahasa will see the script first, you know, to see whether the words is proper Bahasa or proper English, whatever, those kind of things. Now it's free for all, which is dangerous. And see what happened now. Okay, so it is only thought after taking into consideration of several key things involving environment. Environment means the industry, means the category, means the competition, means whoever, and the consumers and the brand. Those are the three components that have to put together for you to come up with strategy. You miss one, you're gone. You see? It depends on what the consumer wants. It depends on what your product can offer. It depends what your brand stands for. Because if you don't link back to what the brand stands for, your brand won't last long. You see, Levi's is 160 something years old. Coca-Cola is 130 something years old, because the brand hasn't changed. The logo has not changed. What they stand for has not changed. But now it's going to change a bit, because times have changed, especially for Coca-Cola. Because 20, 30 years ago, there's no issue about drinking sweet content water or sugar water, whatever you may call it. Now it's a health conscious society. Everybody is conscious. And Coca-Cola also at the global level, they are changing towards that, in terms of going away from, you know, and like 5-6 years ago, they just bought over what coffee was it that was selling at Shell station? Costa Coffee. So they're going into that kind of beverage, healthier. They are considering a healthier Coca-Cola. Even like 7-8 years ago, they came out with a new range called Coca-Cola Life. They put stevia sugar. You know, the stevia come from that leaf, which is produced in Malaysia, which was produced by in Malaysia, but that one didn't go through. But at least they're changing, because the consumers are changing, basically. Because if not, they wouldn't last. You know, if you remember, I think all of you are in your early 20s, so you wouldn't remember. In those days, we used to take photos with a camera using films. Each roll has got 36 rolls. We cannot see when we snap them. We only have to send to the shop to be able to process them. Only we realize that we made a mistake, or there's blank or whatever, those things. Now you can click 100 times, you can delete whatever based on your data that you have. Again, so the camera. So those are the things. But Kodak, Fujifilm, these companies are dying, because Kodak was the film company, firm not in terms of movie, firm in terms of the reel that produce the films, basically. So Kodak is dying. I think it's dead. So is that. So Coca-Cola is towards that. Because why? Times have changed, technology has changed, and consumers change with it. So brands have to follow through, basically. Even food is getting healthier. People are concerned about organic, all those stuff. So these are the kind of elements which we add to be able to attract the plus element that will attract the consumers, basically. Yeah? So strategic driven ideas. Creative strategy is developed based on consumer insight, behavioral patterns, habits, etc. Like I mentioned just now. Consumer insight, behavioral patterns, people habit now is say, I don't take MSG anymore. Okay, so if you talk to these people, don't mention about MSG. Now, ingredients very important. People worry the ingredients. What is the ingredient? What all those things, you know? And then check the industry data, the trends, where is it going, category update, those things. This is what the product is about. The data about the consumer, about the data about the industry, you know, what are the new things coming out, food, or they always add a new flavor or whatever. Technology, they always have innovation. You can like phone, for example, now there's a lot of report coming out. iPhone 13 is coming out soon, maybe next week. When is it? You know, what is it going to have? Is it going to be? Do we, you know, if there's no Wi-Fi, it's going to direct with the satellite? Those kind of things. It's like a satellite phone. All those things are people anticipating, because those are innovation within the technology product, basically. In food product, there's a lot of the other trends that's coming in, you know, under the category update. In cars also, now cars are before they're talking about hybrid, now they're talking about full electric cars, those things, because you don't have to use petrol anymore. So those are the things that people follow. So when you communicate, understand where you are. Don't be left behind. If you don't know where you are, then people say you're so not in the know. So they will just ignore you, basically. Okay? And then monitor your competitors' activities. Competitors' activities are key, whatever they're doing, especially the leader. If you're the leader, you have to lead. If you're not the leader, look at who are the leader, what are the leaders doing, the kind of thing. So make sure you try to offer something better or whatever. Yeah. And then always remember what your brand stands for, because that will always make it stick to your mind that this brand always delivers what is relevant to me, what I really need, basically. Yeah. This one is just, I just simply put it in a boxes, back to whatever we discussed. Number one, we have to understand the objectives, but never forget about what the brand stands for. And then you understand the consumer needs, then only you come up with creative strategy. Creative strategy is not execution idea, okay? A lot of people come up with creative strategy, they think, oh, I want to have, you know, I have this story, this guy walks in. No, that's execution idea. Strategy is what kind of facts that you to include inside there. What are the areas that you need to say and not to say? Don't say those kind of things, because there's plenty of things for you to say. But what is there that you can say but you cannot say? For example, you know, let me show you one example. This is Nike. Nike sells shoes, but this ad has got nothing to do with shoes. But this ad has got something to do with the brand attitude. Brand attitude in terms of supporting something very. This is Colin Kaepernick. Do you know him? He's San Francisco 49ers, American football. In 2016, he kneeled down during a American, what do you call it, national anthem. And the whole country was bashing him, saying no respect, whatever. Even President Trump the last time also was saying, oh, can this be sacked, this guy? And he was really punished. You see, he didn't play for how many seasons in that context. Now everybody is kneeling in support of Black Lives Matter because he was supporting Black Lives Matter. But the brand like Nike was brave enough, even though I'm selling shoes, I'm selling fashion, but the positioning, the brand central idea in terms of, if I feel it's right, I'll do it. You know, if I feel I'm confident enough, I'll do it. You know, like just do it. Like Nike means a motivation to do better. Like if I want to run, I want to win. Like for people like us, you know, if I run, I want to win. People like Usain Bolt, not only winning is not good enough, breaking records. So that's what just do it means. This is the brand essence of believe in something, even means sacrificing everything, just do it. So those kind of things. So this is a very strong ad. This ad has won many awards, which is not so important. But with this stand, Nike has increased their brand value by $6 billion US. I mean, that's how it works, the kind of thing, because consumer appreciate whatever this brand is doing for humankind. Okay? So on that note, a football personality, you know, recently, I'm sure if you follow football, you know, Messi, PSG just paid 52 million pounds salary, not paid for, just a salary. But one of the Sun claimed that, you know, within minutes he saw 150,000 of shirt. You know, how many years ago? 5 years ago, Man U bought over Paul Pogba, and within 3 weeks they make 190 million sales in his shirt. Ronaldo haven't even started playing yet. They just sold 32.5 million pounds within 12 hours, and there is the new record. It seems, that kind of thing. So those kind of things, if you, the kind of brand value, it is intangible, just like this. You know, a brand which sells shoes or sports shoes or trendy streetwear, support something very strong like that, people will support you, those kind of things. And these guys, they are really good at what they do, basically, you know. Though some MU fan wouldn't agree with Pogba because he hasn't really shined other than playing for his country. But again, people want to associate with them. People want to buy their shirts, you know. So people want to carry their brand behind their back, basically. Messi 10, Ronaldo 7. That's why they asked Ronaldo to get back number 7, because it will still the sale will jump like crazy. Those kind of things. Yeah. Okay. Point of difference. I guess you should know this. I think I shared this before. What's the difference between Pepsi and Coke? One is red, one is blue. What is different between the shoes, Adidas and Nike? One has got 3 stripes and one has got the swoosh. I think both of them are made in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe probably same factory, you know. Kimball and Maggi, you know, both are tomato ketchup. Again, based on taste. Food is slightly different based on your taste, your tongue, basically, you know, those things, you know. This is one ad that I've done, I would like to share in terms of the message, okay, because this ad is in 1997. How many of you were born in 1997? At that time, Coca-Cola sponsored the World Youth Cup. World Youth Cup is under 19 or under 20. I'm not sure. You know, the World Cup, FIFA World. Now they call it FIFA World Youth Cup. FIFA under 21, if I'm not mistaken. So Malaysia were hosting it, and Coca-Cola was the main sponsor. I was working on it. The brief given to us, this brief was given to us through Coca-Cola Atlanta Direct. How do you promote football? Okay. the World Cup as a sponsor without, everybody knows that we are a sponsor. Coca-Cola is sponsor. We don't have to shout, we are the sponsor of the whatever. So how do we write on the game? Basically, write on the game. So at that time, or even now, a lot of brands, when you talk about sports, they always profile the top players. For example, if this game has got Messi, they will show, oh, Messi will be playing, Coca-Cola is sponsoring. So they glorify the celebrities, they glorify the champions, or maybe if it is like Olympic, they will show Usain Bolt, whatever. So Coke's strategy was then, I want to glorify the fans, people who supporting them, because the champion, there's only one. There's only one champion of 100 meter, which is Usain Bolt. This is like years ago, okay. And now there's a new guy, I cannot remember also, Usain Bolt. But there are millions of people who supported him. So we, Coca-Cola, we support the fans who are supporting the heroes. There cannot be a hero without you, the fans. So the strategy was, the communication strategy was, which also become the line, cheering is thirsty work. Sorakan pastinya mendahagakan. There's translation lah. Cheering is thirsty work. When you cheer, you're very thirsty. So what do you drink? Basically, so that's why lah. Makan bola, tidur bola, minum Coca-Cola. That's why we come up with that. Yeah. So it's very. It was a very different campaign. It was very successful. After that, Coke was gone out in the next few years. Crazy, because these guys, when we shoot them, they're very excited because they see their faces on the posters, on the ads. These are all over the country all those times, because World Youth Cup, there are 8 stadiums involved, I think. Kuala Lumpur, there's one. Shah Alam, there's another one. There's one in Kuantan, one in Kanga Perlis, and one in Penang, and one in Terengganu, or if I'm not mistaken, and one in Johor. Yeah, something like that. So each state is hosting a different group of countries playing. So I was heading the Coca-Cola team, so I was traveling all over the country those days to be able to promote this Coca-Cola thing. I didn't have a copy of the ad. This is just a frame copy of the Kevin Kagan who signed my poster, those things. So because last time we don't have digital, so I don't have a digital file. Okay. So you look at Coca-Cola. So we talk about thirst. What has the drink got to do with anything? It's about thirsty. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about those days, okay? Those days. So when it thirst, so whenever they shoot, whenever they do an ad, sometimes it doesn't have to be words. The look, you look at this ad, you see ice, you see Coke splurting, those kind, and then you see the cup, sweating, condensation, all these things. This shows the Coca-Cola call it delicious. This makes the drink looks delicious. Look at this, I want to drink this. Look at the ice, look at how juicy it is, those kind of things. So it had to be shot delicious. Just imagine if Coca-Cola is shot without ice in a clear glass, how does it look like? It could be kopi o, isn't it? So it has to be shot this way to make it look delicious, because Coke only sells through advertising. Without advertising, they can't survive. So that's why they spent $4.24 billion in 2019 alone to be able to promote the drink. In the last 5 years, they spent $20 billion worldwide to be able to promote the drink, to be the #1 soft drink in the world, basically. So that's how you analyze in terms of what the brand stands for, in terms of how to be. I'm giving the example because it is my example. Okay, this is what I work on. So I don't pick somebody else's example because I don't know much about them. Okay? But it is just for you to understand the perspective, which is similar to other brands. All other brands will have, Coke has got nothing that it can claim which is good enough. but it shows how delicious it is. You see, Pepsi doesn't choose this fruit. Pepsi will sponsor somebody else, will sponsor celebrities to sing celebrities. You know, yeah. Now the Korean, I'm not sure the girl group. What is it called? So don't say no. I will say no, something like that. You know, that's a campaign. That's a Pepsi campaign. It's always since the 1980s until today. They sponsor celebrities. Coke will never take that route. Coke will always stress on on its own strength, basically. So when you do advertise with Coke, these are the elements you use without even having to say anything, because you don't need to say anything. These are the icons that represent the brand. The shape of the bottle, whether it's a red color or whether it's black color, those are contour bottles. We call it contour bottles. It is patented. Nobody can copy this shape of this bottle, basically. The can, the button, the bottom one, the button with the Coca-Cola with the bottle and the ice, they call it the button. So then the word Coca-Cola, the signature, like when you show people drinking, you show people drink like this, you know, like they are really thirsty, no straw, basically. So that's what they're saying. So this is just some example in terms of the communication tool. Sometimes it doesn't have to be words, because picture paints 1,000 words, basically, like, you know, the cliche to say. Okay. This is another objective for the ad. Objective of the ad is just that direct people to the next outlet. So this is, you know, when you're driving in the US and then suddenly, oh, next exit, McDonald's. You know what it is. Doesn't have to say. You know, you make sure the next exit, because they do, yeah, they don't have R&R, they have exit, you know, at the junction, kita ada R&R. This is another L'Oreal ad, you know, fighting in the fight for women. This is an ad for men. Yeah, hire more women in leadership roles. Yeah, I'm reading the left one. We're all worth it. So when we talk about 20% patents with female leaders. So they have with innovation, hiring more women. It adds 20% more patents registered with women leaders. The lipstick one is a profitability increased by 15% with women as leaders again. So this is just to prove that this brand is supporting. You know, they don't even sell lipstick. They don't even sell. They have the picture of lipstick, you know, but you know, the last lipstick is 30%. With 30% women as leaders, they can increase 15% of profitability. So that's how they use data to be able to communicate what the ad is. One is selling the product. Number two, it is highlighting what the brand stands for, which is for women, the kind of thing. And these are the women product, L'Oreal. They're based in Paris, the kind of thing. So okay, this is just some example I want to share. And this is, I know, I just found this in the when I Google, I just found it quite interesting. You don't have to say anything. Go to the zoo, you know. I want to see this python. Yeah, so I mean, it's just arresting. The visual are very, very attractive. Yeah, squeeze the bus. Okay, point of difference again between these two. What are the point of difference? I always mention, but each one of them, you know, Mercedes has got a different one tagline. BMW has got another tagline called like sheer driving pleasure, those things. You know, we're talking about Apple and Samsung. Okay, Apple, when you see the billboard, it's always talking about the shot on iPhone, shot on iPhone 11, shot on iPhone 12, shot on iPhone 13. You know, it's not that other Samsung cannot shoot as good, but they took that component of the feature and make it theirs. Maybe other phone has got a better camera, better lens, But they've been claiming it shot on their phone. It looks good. The photo looks good. You know, it's not that everybody can take those photos. They're not dependent on the camera. They're dependent on the photographer, basically. But again, they took the route in terms of claiming that is theirs. That doesn't mean that other phone cannot take that good, but they can take even better, but it doesn't matter. But I claim it first, basically. Yeah. In cars even, Volvo has been claiming Volvo for life. You know, Volvo has been established themselves as a safe car because it was solid. Now, in terms of technology, a lot of other cars have beat Volvo in terms of safety, Audi and all those. But again, because they stand, the brand doesn't change or what is that. But what you say it differently. You use whatever the brand has got, the power, the strength that the brand delivers. Okay. Any questions? Okay, we'll continue a bit. Okay. Now, just to demonstrate the power of the brand. How much would you pay for a normal pair of jeans? Maybe 20 ringgit, so you wouldn't pay the kind of thing, you know. But again, we're consistent in terms of if we have the label of the brand, then it's so because each of these brands, like Levi's, it has got a lot of icons and a lot of history of what it stands for. So when you do an ad for brands like this, you got a lot of angle to pick up. Okay, so if you have a new product or new brand which doesn't have a lot of angles like Levi's or Coca-Cola to pick up, then you study the competitor. What the competitor is claiming? So don't claim that you have something better that they have. That makes you a follower. Because they already started it, that makes them a leader. Claim something that they have not claimed. But it doesn't matter whether they have it or not. But you claim something which is that make it yours, basically. So that's how you start doing strategy. To be able to work together with the creative team to be able to deliver. Okay, so back to the basic thing. What brand is simply a collection of meaning in a consumer's mind. Our job is to deliver that specific meaning in any occasion creatively. You know, so whatever the objective is, but never forget what the brand stands for, and then use that to be able to deliver what the brand can creatively, basically. Okay, any other questions? Is there any questions before I continue?
Any questions from my class at this point?
No.
Okay.
Shukri, wait, maybe I asked because some of them submitted questions earlier. So
yeah, yeah.
This one here from Munira. She's asking, do clients typically ask for like bold advertisements, like bold ideas, or is it more common for the bold ideas to be suggested by, you know, the agency, the creative strategist?
Client always asks for the impossible. So be prepared, you know, be prepared. Sometimes when they say ask bold ideas, when you present bold idea, they got scared. You know, so that's the thing. They got scared. When they got scared, sometimes it's because they can because sometimes if you do something bold, the idea stands on its own. It's got nothing much to do with the brand, basically. So that's why the client got scared. You understand what I'm saying, you know? So you want to do something creative, and a lot of people do. To me, through my experience, I noticed a lot of award-winning ads has less affinity with the brand. The brand is just there to paste a logo to make the ad great, basically. So it doesn't much as deliver what the brand stands for. Of course, the client will ask, I want a bold thing, those kind of things. So we have to be prepared. At the end of the day, without asking, we need to be able to provide those kind of ideas, because that's what our job is. That's why they hire us, you know, those kind of things. If you want to be safe, they can do it themselves. It's not that they don't, you see. So client always, most clients, they come from the agency as well. So they know better. They know the trick. So better be careful with these people. Mostly people climb from the agency, they're the worst client because they think they know better. You see? So if you can handle them, you're okay. You see? So I faced a lot of them like that. And then at the end of the day, my staff became my client. So it depends. Yeah. So it's like that.
Okay.
It is a normal thing that client will ask for creative ads, bold ads, but when you creative or bold in what context? Attract attention as an ad or attract attention in terms of to buy or to embrace what the ad is trying to say. That is important, the message in the ad. So when you do strategy, make sure the strategy is to deliver the message of what the objective of the ad. See, client can say bold and then suddenly, oh no, I just want to do, the objective is so boring and then suddenly you want bold. So it doesn't fit, basically. Any other questions?
Yeah, this other one, maybe it's more connected to your earlier part, but Wang Jia or Erica, she asked, when you formulate creative strategies for brands, how do you avoid inaccurate target positioning and excessive advertising demands? Like if the client has many objectives and they want you to do a million things, how do you do that? Is there a way to avoid that?
Do million ads lah.
Do a
No,
million ads.
okay. Yeah, they want million thing, do million ads. They can pay. No, again, that, I mean, not to worry about, each client will have what the brand stands for. Okay, especially when a proper product, a proper company for that matter. Okay, but there are also clients who will learn with you if they become your partner. Because they are just new in the business and then suddenly we work together. So this is what you should stand for. You should be able to give that kind of advice. That's why I give a strategy in terms of thinking. Strategy is about thinking. It's not about execution just yet. Don't think about execution yet until you finish your thinking, basically. So those kind of things. So if clients know their brand stands for this, and then when they ask for a million things, most of them, okay, some of the clients don't even know their brand. That's why they ask for a million things. If you know their brand, this is specifically I want you all to see, to think about my brand. Sometimes I face clients like that, but if you're smarter, you know what to do. You can be ever get, because they can ask for 20 things, okay? But when they give you a brief, they just want to do this, but they want to ask 20 things. So you find back whether is this relevant. Point number 5, point number 3, point number 1, and number 5, it could be the same. So we can say in the same ad, So normally a client will have, I want to launch this product. It can do this. Okay, 20 things. If you have an ad on the TV, 30 seconds, you cannot say 20 things. Because if like I throw you 5 ping pong balls, the most you can catch is 2. Okay, so if I throw you 5 ping pong balls, one after another, so you can catch them all. So that's what you need to do. Like I said, so they want 20 points, do 20 ads. If not, combine 1 or 2 points, or find one which is stood out amongst the competition, shout on that one. And then once they buy into what you stand for, then only you deliver the other 19 slowly. Oh, it can also do this, can also do that. That's what big brands does. Okay, so it's always that way.
Okay.
Any other?
Yeah, I'll ask one more question, then you can continue.
Yeah.
So this one is from Jay. She asked, is there any specific timeline for developing creative strategy? So do you have, like, when you get a project?
Yes, you work based on timelines.
Usually.
Yeah, usually, but normally you don't have time. When client react, okay, normally client will say, I have this one. I want to launch this. And then suddenly they find out, oh, the competition also have the same thing. They're going to launch. Oh, can we launch tomorrow? Then you'll die. Okay, that's why you have to be prepared. Or you say, I'm going to have this promotion. Okay, let's have this promotion on the 16th of September, for example. Let's say like 2 weeks ago, you got brief. Okay, we have 1 month on 16th September, Malaysia Day. I think we run and then we do a campaign very on Malaysia Day. And then by 1st September, you find out your competition has got the same promotion. What do? Okay, now come up by tomorrow. That's what you do. That's when you work 25 hours a day. I don't know whether there's such a work extra or not. That kind of thing. So those things you have to face it. Okay, that's why you need to think faster than what you normally think. Time will always be given, but it will never be enough. Okay, the last time when we work, we get 2-3 weeks because it took 2-3 weeks for us to do work. It's not because that we cannot think fast. It's because the process is slow. So now you have computer, you can do a copy. Last time for us to produce an ad, to get an ad to the newspaper, we need at least 4 days. Because you need to go to color separation. The color separation, it goes to the newspaper, need to have 2 days before the 4 days you start printing, the kind of thing. So now newspaper or digital, you give me tonight, by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, it will come out in my digital newspaper. The last time, no. Yeah, when you're at in 1st September, make sure you deliver the firm material on the 26th of August. If not, your ad won't come out. But to come out with the 26th of August, I have to send to the printer to do firm by the 23rd of August. And 23rd of August, I need to FA come out from the office by 20th of August. So you'll take 1 month to come out with one ad. Those days, okay? So this is I'm talking about 20-30 years ago. Okay, but now it's hard. So now everything is digital, everything is fast. Think fast. So that's why you have to structure your thinking. Once you master this, it's easier. You have to structure your thinking. What is the objective? Okay, to do this. Okay, to do this objective, what can we offer? How is it better? Whatever that we're offering is better than our competition. Okay, then just say this. Tell the creative, just say this. Put in the creative words. Sometimes you always write a rough headline for them in terms of how they want the ad to say. They will say in a creative manner. It doesn't matter. Okay, those things. Okay?
Yep. Thanks, Shukri. Can continue first?
Okay. I mean, yeah, basically creative in that matter, because like the question just now, what do they know about what the brand stands for? You see, like this one brand central idea. Coca-Cola is about joy and happiness, you see? Everything you drink, you look, you're happy, those kind of things. Apple is about simplicity. Their product is so simple, Last time, our days, you want to play music, there's play button, there's a pause button, there's a stop button, there's a forward button, there's a rewind button, there's a lot of buttons. Apple came with only one button, that kind of control. That is start with simplicity. Even now also, you just swipe in, out, in and out, the kind of thing. So that's what the technology stands for. If it is not simple, simply, I mean, this is a quote from what's his founder? Mr. Apple. Okay, he said if it is not, sorry,
Steve Jobs.
Yes, sorry. See, I so forgot. I forgot. Steve Jobs said, if it is not easy enough for the consumer to use it, throw it away. That's his philosophy. Okay, so whenever you see his ad, even his ad also, you see an ad on the billboard also, just one shot, doesn't say anything, shot by iPhone. That's it. But the impact is there, basically. Those guys. You go to the shop also, it's so simple. You don't find stacks and stacks and stacks of computer like you go to Loyat. At one table, there's only 4 computers. And you play with it. You test until you're happy, then you buy. You don't know, you ask my people. They don't put stacks and stacks that you cannot even walk. Most shops, and then if you put fashion in your shop, you cannot even walk. But this one, they let you play with the stuff. So it's simple for you to buy. So the simplicity comes that way. Levi's, everything is about original. Nike is about unbridled pursuit of passion, which is just do it basically. And then our local brand also are passionate about progress. Now everyone can fly. Air Asia, you know, what do they stand for? It's a budget airline because it's cheap and easy to book. You know, you don't have to. I cut down all the red tapes in terms of come to our office to book the tickets lah, whatever the kind of thing. No, you can't. You check in yourself. You check in your bag yourself. Don't make sure you don't exceed. You know, I'll charge you the kind of thing. You want to eat, you buy. You don't want to eat, you don't buy. You know, and then you stay in a flight for 3 hours, no food. Again, it's up to you because it's cheap enough. Because of that, the concept is everyone can fly. It's basically that. So when you write something, you have to be able to write something like you cannot like about how luxury enjoy this our seat. Well, no, they don't enjoy the seat. They can. You don't talk about that so much. You talk about getting there in the word in the cheapest way or whatever they can, but without sounding make it cheap. Banks are always so corporate and so boring. So Maybank is trying to be humanizing financial services, whether they make it or not, it doesn't matter. But at least they're trying to find a route which is humanizing the bank, because the bank are so boring in that matter. You know, it can be people who hate banks because they always chase you when you're late by half an hour, that kind of thing, you know, payment, those things. And then BMW is about driving. It's not about the technology of the car. It doesn't talk about this base safety lah. It's about the driving. You know, when you have a BMW, you sit behind the steering wheel, that's when you enjoy it, basically. That's what he meant, you know. So when you sell a BMW, you sell that way because you sell the pleasure from the consumer point of view. You know, all these three brands, Asia, Maybank, and BMW, they're talking about the consumer. They don't talk about themselves. Okay, even this one, Coca-Cola, joy and happiness is what? Simplicity is what? For us to simply use. Levi's talking about themselves. American original. Quality never goes out of style. That's what the line is. Unbridled passion also talking about us as a consumer, basically. So these are the kind of things that we have to understand. If they don't have, if it is a new brand, if a new client, work together with them to come up with something like this, so that you be consistent, so that you don't have to change. Once you know this, and then whatever objective you want to do, sale, you want to launch a new product, or you want to kill a product, you want to whatever, it's easier for you to come up with strategy. It's always come up from the brand. You know. Say translating a brand central idea, a good creative brief. Okay, this one I've gone through. I would like to go through again. Okay, the creative brief, the components, background, objective or exercise. Okay, so objective, like I mentioned just now, the box, whatever I showed. Then who are the target consumers? And then what is the role of the brand? Then what is the big idea of the brand? Not the big idea of the communication, the brand, basically, you know. Then I think this one I shared last time in April. It is important. It is under communication, effective communication, which is also writing a strategy brief, basically a creative strategy, basically. What are the key aspects of the current business? This is the objective, basically. A client give you the current business or competitive environment within the industry that are relevant to this brief. You know, what is the business problem we expect the communication to address? Okay, the sales are down. You know, or we are launching, we are adding a new range, those kind of things. So that it had to be very clear under the objective. And then the consumers, who are the intended recipient of this communication in terms of mindset, creatures of habit, simulation seekers, achievers. I know these are the consumers' mindset. I'm not talking about 21 to 25-year-old earning 100 ringgit a month. No, not demographics, but psychographics, basically. Yeah, you know, that. What desire or concern or mindset can be capitalized by our brand and why? You know, why do they need to? Why do they need this? Why do they need this service? Why do they need this function? Why do they need this feature, this ingredient? Those kind of things. So these are what are habit, creatures of habit is what? this person is a very health freak, basically. Wouldn't touch anything non-organic, that kind of thing. So if we're talking to organic people and that, so what can, so we find in terms of the ingredient, what is it? So the number 2, the ingredient. So what are the ingredients that will fit in that will make this organic person happy, that kind of thing, you know? Yeah, basically lah, you know, roughly. And then, sorry. What does the role of brand? What does the current consumer think of our brand? So that one you have to know. If you don't know this, then you have a problem. If the client don't know this, sack them. What do we want the consumer to think of the brand at the end of the communication program? Why should they believe us? Kind of thing. So you have to answer this kind of question yourself. You know. So this is the actual brief that I use in Beige Malaysia and also in Publicis to be able to come up with an ad, because all of my management, account management team will have to answer this question. If this question is not clear, the creative team will come back to you and say, why is it not? Why is it not clear? Why should they believe us? That kind of thing. Why should they believe us? Is if it is about food, you put all the ingredients that make it organic or those kind of things. If it is about technology, put it there because we have this latest technology. Or our competition technology is only up to this. Ours is this. You know, all those kind of details that have to be put in. You know, it's not. Yeah. So this has to be done fast, because creative team will take another few days or whatever time that they need to be able to come up with an ad. If everything we know from the above had to be expressed in one sentence, it would be, this is what I said, in a sentence. Sometimes you need this, sometimes you don't need this. Because this one, I put this in my last agency because I want them to be like, if you are a creative team, what will you write? Simple like that. Doesn't have to be creative, but I just want to see the message that you want to give, basically, you know. So it's that. Okay. So at the end of the day, the brand is the most fundamental emotional imprint of product in the consumer's mind. Okay, so like I said, I always keep repeating this. Okay, I always keep repeating about the brand. It's not so much of the ad, it's the brand first. What do you say in the ad is about what the brand. What do you say about the brand is about the objective of the ad, basically the communication. Yeah. Okay. So once you have the ad, the brand image like this one, I already shared the last time. The top one is top left is LeBron James, and then Nadal, and then Roger Federer. The top one is USA. The second one is Spain. The bottom one, Love 15, Roger Federer in London, and then the top right is my team in Malaysia. So the look is similar. The message is different, basically. So once you have what the brand stands for, the look will have to be similar. Okay, so just do it, campaign. Okay, brand central idea, I already said. Okay. Here, this is the last part. After this, we can discuss further. We have question. An example of brand strategy translated into creative strategy. This is based on a new product by Johor Corporation. The brand is called Secret Garden. It's personal care. They have shampoo. They have I don't know, a lot of things lah. It was launched in 2006, which my team did in Beige Malaysia. 2006. Yeah, this was like 14 years ago, 15 years ago. Yeah, it did well when it was launched, and then I don't know what happened. They still have in Guardian or whatever, but it's not that big, no, because they're competing with the big brands. Okay, where are we? Okay, this is the brief the client gave. Okay, our brand, which is a new brand, the pink arrow, and then the retail brands, the green circle. Retail brands means like a boutique shop, the Himalaya, the Body Shop. They only sell their brand. Basically, that's what they call the retail brands. International brands, yeah, you can find it anywhere lah. You know, the Colgate, Palmolive, Procter and Gamble, Johnson and Johnson, Bristol Myers, Unilever. These are the name of the company, but like Colgate, Palmolive, they have brands like, you know, what is the shampoo ad? They're always on TV. Those are Procter and Gamble and those kind of things. So I think, yeah, you can dig out, because I cannot remember everything. All the shampoo brands that you see on TV right now, they belong to Procter and Gamble. You can think Colgate, Palmolive, Colgate and Palmolive. Unilever, they have Sunsilk. Cow is Cow lah. Johnson and Johnson, they have Johnson and Johnson. And then local brands, Jimbera, Follow Me, Mustikara too. So these are the category and the competition that this new brand is coming, the secret recipe. Okay. And then where do we want to be? Brand positioning and market segment. Okay. They want to be in the middle of everything. They want to be in the middle between the retail brands and the international brands and the local brands, because they don't want to be seen as local so much, but they want to be seen as international, because the products are just as good, basically. You know. So okay, so the big opportunity in terms of brand positioning that would lead to creative strategy is built on the positive imagery and aspiration of contemporary fusion culture using traditional beauty secrets. You know, because when a product produced here, we have traditional secrets, you know, in terms of how we take care of ourselves, in terms of beauty, from the best beauty secrets around the world, not only local. It's any corners of the world ada, you know. Okay? So from natural ingredient, full range of nourishment and natural care, all these elements are given to us by the client. Okay. And then traditional beauty secrets from the four corners of the earth. So this is the creative strategy. Traditional beauty secrets from the four corners of the earth. Because why is it different? Because this is international brand, it comes from US, it comes from whatever. Local brand, your Follow Me, Mustika Ratu, is like very, very Indonesian, the kind of thing. The Body Shop, Himalaya, it comes from the Himalaya, you know, the Body Shop is like being natural, those kind of things. So we reframe perception. We want to be right in the middle, which these people don't claim. I mean, we are the traditional beauty secrets, because our recipe are traditional beauty secrets from four corners of the earth, not only from Malaysia, not only from local, but from corners of the earth. So that's the strategy. Okay, so this is the ad that we came up with, because you want to look international, whatever. So this I play the ad.
Introducing Secret Garden. Discover a world of traditional beauty secrets from the four corners of the earth.
So discover the traditional beauty secrets from the four corners of the earth. What basically secrets from the Orient because of rice, secret from Himalayas because Ayurveda, secret from the these are all shot in Malaysia. Okay. You notice that there's a shot of Himalaya. You can see the Mount Everest. You know, that was superimposed. The lady was walking on the rock at the beach in Terengganu, and then we superimposed into because we have to produce it in Malaysia. So we want to make it look international, because if we claim that it is the traditional secrets from the four corners of the earth, from the Orient, from Himalayas, from Nusantara, from all those things. So it has to be able to have that look. So the tagline is traditional beauty secrets, basically, you know, traditional beauty secrets. So these are the campaign ad. Even the campaign ad, client said, I want it to look international. So we have to use Caucasian. Yeah. So the top one is Cleopatra kept a lot of secrets, almond oil. So that's one of the ingredients. That's the secrets from the Mediterranean, the top left. And then the bottom left, secrets from the Nusantara, tested on princess. Kan Nusantara, we have a lot of putri. Sini putri Gunung Ledang, putri whatever, a lot. So it uses cengkeh and everything else, you know. And then the top right is secrets from the Himalayas, a regimen of 4,000 years in the making, basically. And then secrets of the Orient, the healing properties of rice, all those things, you know. It was very successful. When they launched, they managed to capture within 6 months 7% of the market. 7% is huge at those times because there are plenty of these kind of products, personal care products in the market then and even now. For you to be able to penetrate, to get into Guardian, to get into Watson, it's not easy, but these people got through because they're big, because they got the money. And they spend money to be able to do this kind of thing. So we managed to be able to do this, to launch. Our role was just to launch the brand, and after that they've taken over. So I didn't follow up. We didn't follow up. So we had this brand for only less than a year. They can to do the launch. After that, they continue. But now I still find the product are still available in Guardian and all those things, but not so prominent anymore. Those kind of things. Okay. So, okay. Basically, what to look in developing a creation strategy is a clear and specific objective. Okay, you know what I meant by specific. Yeah? Find an angle where the brand can deliver. You know, angle, you know, what the brand stands for, kind of thing, and then relate it to the consumer needs. Always go back to the consumer. Okay, specifically, what do you want to sell? What is the brand? Can the brand deliver? And then relate back to the consumer need and deliver the very specific message in the most compelling way in the execution. Don't worry about the execution. Don't think about I think the ad should have this woman, the ad should have that. The ad no, shouldn't be the kind of thing. So don't think about execution. Think about the idea. I would just to bring up, I think in the session, one of the guys questioned me the other day in the last session in April when I showed an advertisement of a Land Rover about a man capturing an alligator throwing in the drain in New York in Land Rover. Because the idea of the Land Rover is being adventure. The man was adventurous enough to be able to see an alligator. There was a tongue-in-cheek. He was supposed to be humor ad. Found an alligator. So he was a small guy. He was brave enough, adventurous enough to go and capture the alligator and throw it back into the drain. But the question came from the guy was, what if I use the car and transform it into a transformer? To me, the idea of the brand is not about transformer or the idea of the brand is adventurous. So that's why they find that guy who was because the tagline was, have you been anywhere interesting lately? Those things. So I mean, don't get caught up with execution, because transformer is about execution. This is what he interested in, but that's not what the consumer is interested in. Because if the brand is the objective is selling adventure, so find out the angle which the consumer would like about adventure. So the detached. It's not wrong about the transformer. If the brand is about transformation or whatever, then it's right, because the brand is about adventure. So that transformer doesn't fit in. So it doesn't bring in. Don't think of execution yet. Think of adventure first. How do I deliver this adventure to the consumer? Basically that. Okay. Now question time. Sorry, let me go back to.
Oh, Shukri's back.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, first, anyone wants to ask questions before I start reading the ones that I already have? Anyone?
One.
No questions yet? Okay, so I'll just read the ones that were given in earlier, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, where should I start with the more generic ones? Okay, so this question says, how do we handle or balance the goals and the objectives if during the process, during the journey, you come across like threats or obstacles, or you somehow the campaign is not producing the results you want? So do you have any suggestions for like overcoming this, or maybe creating a strategy that will minimize the likelihood of this
This
kind of
one,
problem?
this one problem came after the ads was launched or while you're doing the strategy?
Well, I think it depends, because it says okay, so if during the journey we meet with threats or obstacles, and so okay, so I guess there's two parts here. If what do you do, or how do you handle it if during the planning process and the creation process you come across obstacles or threats, and then the other half is like, what happens if it doesn't produce the results you want?
Okay, there's two different things. Huh? The first thing, while you're doing the strategy and something obstacle came out in terms of your objective wouldn't be relevant, or it's going to be a challenging because somebody else just potong jalan or whatever they've come up with something earlier. I mentioned just now, right? While you're planning and then somebody just launch it, before even Malaysia Day, then it's best for you not to proceed, because if you proceed, it's going to be the second problem. Okay, so if you know the second problem is coming, why do it? Okay, so we face that all the time. So it's just frustrating for the client, but it doesn't matter. But it's safer to stop and relook and rethink. Sometimes they came up with the same idea. We have to change the idea. It'll take time. Sometimes they'll just intercept the program, So sometimes if our idea is strong enough to be able to fight, we go ahead. So we have to find guts there, client and us, to be able to decide whether, no, but we are saying this. Yeah, even though they're selling the same thing, they're saying that, we're saying this. I think this is what is stronger. Research says, the consumer said they want this one more. Something like that. Okay, you have to back lah, not by saying, oh my God, what do you think? I think it's not about what you think. I don't care about what you think, but the consumer thing, basically, So those things, the kind of thing. So there are clients also like that. Huh? Okay, they say, I think, no, it's not about you. It's your consumer, the kind of thing. So we have to be able to have that guts to be able to tell the client that, after 30 years, I have the gut to be able to tell them that. If not, I wouldn't say so you're not selling to yourself, you're selling to your consumer. Okay, you're not the consumer. So if halfway through that means there's something wrong with the campaign, because sometimes you can't blame anybody for that matter. Sometimes clients planning, because when you receive an objective, it is a marketing objective from the client, because this is what I want to do to increase my sales, for example. They might think the wrong way, because sometimes they don't share with us. I was lucky because I have the relationship with my client. They share with us the sales and whatever. So I plan the marketing strategy together with the client, Levi's and Coca-Cola. I know where it's going to be. Okay, so Raya is coming. What do we do, basically? Those things. And then there's one occasion. This is late 90s, 1997. Also, same as the football thing. Already we are very successful with the football. And then the whole world were complaining to Coca-Cola Atlanta that every fasting month, sales will dip in Muslim country. So Coca-Cola gave a global brief from Atlanta. We were invited because we did well for the makan bola, tidur bola, eat football, sleep forward, drink Coca-Cola. How do we address this? We don't want to intrude the Muslim community by pushing Coca-Cola, but we want to be part of it. Because when it comes to Ramadan, Like Malaysia, last time we will choose syrup lah, ais bandung lah. We don't drink anything else. So because that's why after you're hungry the whole day, you want to eat, you want to drink the best. And that's why you don't need. And also we also have the tendency to think, oh, don't drink gassy drink. It's bad for you after empty stomach, the kind of thing. In Arab, no, it's good for you because indigestion. Because it give out gas, this kind of thing, indigestion. And so Arab will go for Pepsi. They don't go for Coca-Cola, they go for Pepsi. So again, so in other countries, what do we do? So I mean, I was called up to a pitch with direct from Coca-Cola Atlanta to come up with an ad for Coca-Cola Ramadan, which we won. Fortunately, I produced the first ever Coca-Cola Ramadan for the world around Malaysia in 1997, basically. So the ad came out. So they were very happy. 21 countries run the ad. It's basically that, So is that the client will have to know what they want. Very specific. I want to be part of Ramadan, but I don't want to be involved in the Islamic part of it because I don't want to intrude the religion. I just want to be part of the culture. Because when you break fast, part of the culture, we break fast together. So I want to be that part of culture because Coca-Cola would like to bring people together, basically. When you get together, you drink Coca-Cola. Those kind of things, So we came up with an ad, sorry, I didn't have it with me right now. Yeah, that kind of thing. So it was very successful campaign. And then the following year, we got another project of producing the same ad. Without having to pitch. For your information, the production budget then for that 30-second ad was $1 million. Oh my God. $1 million. And we got bonus, and I got bonus also after producing it. Just one ad, I got $1 million. So I mean, that's how Coca-Cola spent. Okay, and my friend mentioned just now, I showed you the slide, $4.2 billion in advertising. That's kind of thing. So that's an example of what the client knows. Okay, other example also like Levi's. Fashion changes every season overseas. Okay, spring, summer, or fall, whatever. Yeah. So if you go overseas, you go to Europe, the window will change every 3 months. Okay, Malaysia, we don't follow that the last time. Now we follow, like we got snow, that kind of thing. So, but at least last time it was like 6 months. So what Levi's client does is that every half of the year, they'll visit Europe. They come back, they'll bring back, okay, let's do the last spring campaign in Malaysia. So they become the leader because that trend will come to this country only 6 months later because there's no social media then. See? So that's how lucky we were then, those kind of things. So is that. So, once you know what you want, so chances of failing once the ad is out, it shouldn't be there anymore, kind of thing. So especially now, everything is data-based, everything is got, client can buy data now. Who's eating what, drinking what, sleeping what time, wearing what, you can buy all those stuff. Now, they're all research everywhere, in any country, so data should be able to have. Once you have that data, you shouldn't make a wrong strategy anymore. If I'm the client, I won't give you any excuse that it doesn't work. The only way it doesn't work is because the product failed. You say no. So is that, to me, I just put it that way. Okay.
Okay.
The question.
Okay. Dr. Norzihan has a question in the chat, which is similar to another question I have, but anyway. So Dr. Z's question is, in today's mostly digital world, how do you capture the minds of the Gen Zs? Is out of home and print still relevant? Are those non-digital media still useful?
No, those are media tactics. Okay, I'm not expert in those. In an agency, they have a media agency who will analyze that, who will give the data, what are the habits, what are the consumer habits basically. So as a creative strategy, we just study in terms of what message do we deliver. How do we deliver the message? We go to the next expert. We cannot be the expert in that thing. So even addressing in social media, answering to Facebook, answering to Twitter or Instagram, whatever, it has to be an expert. There are people who are expert doing that to be able to do that, to answer that, because you cannot be saying the wrong thing at not slightest mistake, you're gonna get killed, basically. So not to worry about what to choose, whatever, because right now I also don't know what to choose, to be really honest. If you go like easiest to advertise is like you go to, you can advertise through Facebook, they can book place, you can book video, you can advertise through Google, you can buy listing in Google, so that when they key in, they key in whatever, if your business is frozen curry puff, your brand will come out first. Those are the kind of things to be able to do. But again, at the end of the day, the client, whatever they do, especially the professional client, they have a website. All of us, our habit is we want to buy anything, we go to the website and check what the product is all about. We check first now, right? Even if we will go Shopee also, sometimes we know already what we want to get, then we go to Shopee directly. But sometimes we not sure, we go to the website first, we check this product, right? We can buy through Shopee. Those things. That's what people do. People search for information. Now they ask, even though they are influenced by brand, but the brand will have to be prepared with this kind of creatures of habit, because they will do their homework first. Okay, all consumers will do their homework first. The kind of thing. So before they click, put you into the basket. Before they click, check out. If not, you stay in the basket without checking out. You wasn't sure until they check with somebody else. And those things. So I mean, not to worry, because there are experts in certain components to be able to deliver. Unless you're a small agency, then you have problems, which you have to understand both ways. But again, you can go to digital agency. They can advise you in terms of how to approach, how to reach to the consumer, because there is not mass communication anymore. It's more like to me, I consider social media as interpersonal communication. It's like you communicate with one person, even though you blast it to everybody. Because that one person will start questioning you, 100% question, and you don't know how to answer already, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. This question I have here, when developing creative strategies, like are there any specific ethical considerations that you need to take into account?
Ethics is about, like I said, it's up to you now. Okay. There is advertising code of ethics in Malaysia, but people don't follow anymore. Which I feel sad, those things, because number one, we cannot have competitive advertising. We cannot have Pepsi and Coke by side say I'm better than Swan, like in the West. No, that's what we cannot have. And there's a code of ethics of dressing also. How do you feature women on TV, whatever? People may say old-fashioned, but again, it makes a lot of sense. Because if you don't have those things, it becomes exploitation. So why do you need this? I mean, we question in our code of ethics. Why do you need a woman in bikini when you sell a car tire, for example? Say no relevance. Again, no need. You go and squeeze your creative juices on something that's really which is more realistic, more creative, rather than pasting. Those things. Those I will leave it to you. Because my advice have ethics. Because in any business, we have ethics, you do better, reputation-wise. Because you are protecting a brand. You don't use this ethical thing, you protect. Yeah, people will. I won't respect brand that doesn't have ethics. I won't respect people who don't have ethics, for that matter. So because that's what people will start pointing. Yeah, if you want controversial, because there are people in this country, influencer, they purposely plant in something controversial so people will chat about it. I mean, those are cheap publicity. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So there's a question in the chat. It says from Oliver, says, I have a question. How do we maintain the same brand voice across multiple ad campaigns?
Yeah, I understand what he's trying to say. Okay, because it has got to do the brand voice, meaning what the brand stands for. How do you say, for example, how you say when you use Facebook, what do you say in Facebook? Maybe it's the same thing as you say in Instagram or whatever, because it's the same poster and that content. But when you say if you want to send a voice message, then the script may change, because you might create certain drama through radio, through voice, for example. I mentioned, in terms of when we do advertising last time, we're very conventional advertising. Each medium will have its role. Billboard is you have only 4 seconds to read. So make sure you say, that's why you see billboard, they're all only logos. Only the local brand will have all the grandmother story onto it. Like people can read, like people going to stop and they stare for 5 minutes to read about your story, kind of thing. So you go to the airport in KLIA, they're all logos. Sony, they're all logos. It's just a reminder, basically. And then when you if you want to have radio advertising, or you want to have voicemail, have WhatsApp voice or whatever, those kind of thing, then you can be a bit more creative. You say this, you're delivering the same message, but in a different way. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of ways to say yes or to say no, isn't it? There's a lot of ways to say you're sorry, that kind of thing. The cliche line people were saying, but use creativity to be able. That's why we leave it to the creative to be able to do that, because when you brief them, you know that this is a strategy. This is where we're going to. We're going to Facebook, we're going to Instagram, we're going to WhatsApp voice, we're going into the podcast, we're going to this, we're going to radio also, we're going to billboard also. How do you say this in that? So that when consumer, when they hear the same brand differently, they can put things together. Oh, this is what they are, but not the same thing, Yeah. So even like, during Ramadan, people always remember that brand will use only radio. Yusuf Tayyub, everybody can remember. It only means korma. But it was so bloody impactful. It comes out irritating. It doesn't matter. It works. And you go outside there, they also have this. Not only kurma, but it's Yusuf Tayyub. It says that. Even when you read the word, so you have that sound. It's Tayyub. Yes. Those things. Those are the kind of thing, creativity. Sometimes, yeah. So we have to be medium driven, because each medium will have its role. So use its role the best way possible. Basically, for example, my secret garden just now, I didn't use the same girls in my commercial on the pre-net. You see not? Yeah, you want save money, you should use the same girl. You should just this girl, this one inside the Himalaya. Okay, put her there and put her. We know, because on TV we have to show somebody local. Looks, but with international feel. Yeah. But on print, we can use anybody. Because once you're on print, you can appear in magazine. Those days appear in magazine. A magazine like Clio, whatever, they're all international products. The L'Oreal of the world and whatever, they look all Mak Saleh looking. So yeah, we put there. So we just address in terms of what the brand's supposed to represent. That's important. Message is another thing. But don't focus so much on the message and you forget about the brand. You see that? So okay.
Yep. Okay. There's other question here. Just now you mentioned in passing like these influencers and all this. So this question, maybe I'll rephrase slightly. Like when you plan creative strategies, are there cases where you plan them with a specific like celebrity or influencer in mind, or are they chosen by the the client? Like who chooses the celebrity or influencer?
Don't get confused between creative strategy and execution. Influencer is execution. Creative strategy is the message. How do you deliver the message? Is the execution, the tactics. Okay, tactics. Radio is a tactic. Celebrity is a tactic. But the message is the same. How do you deliver the message? ABC. This product is healthy through influencer. This product is healthy on radio. This product is healthy in Google. This product is healthy on Facebook. Facebook, those are medium. Influencer, those are tactics. You know, some client will come to us. I have the influencer. Can you give me a line? Whatever. You want to give me money? I give now. What? Don't care whether influencer will work or not. I don't believe in influencer. Okay, because it's not that I don't believe in influencer. I don't believe in terms of a borrowed identity. I call influencer or sponsorship a borrowed identity. Because the brand is not strong enough, it has to depend on somebody else to sell me. You understand? That's my point. Okay, this is a very personal point. People don't like it sometimes, but to me, this doesn't matter. Influencer wouldn't like me. I cannot be an influencer. Okay, because if they screw up something, they bring the brand down, and a lot of them are, they got paid. Okay, today they sell cream, whatever. Tomorrow they sell drink, because they have followers. But how long can they sustain the brand? As long as they live. When they're gone, when they're no longer popular, where does your brand live? Where does your on their own? It doesn't have to be. So it's not your choice. It's a creative choice. Oh, this guy is like this. Why do you say that? Yeah, even though I'm guilty also, but we use sponsorship also. I used Zainal Abidin for the first relaunch of Device a long time ago, because he launched his album called Hijau. It's about, Hijau is about good thing. So Levi's want to be part of it. So both became successful. Levi shot like crazy. Zainal also shot like crazy. So his album sold. They can't think. So again, but not for long. Only for certain part of time for a launch. They can't think. Not so. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask this other question, or let me try and phrase it in an easy way. So some of my class anyway, they were supposed to watch like case study video, which was talking about negative framing in strategy, like the Whopper campaign where they used like the moldy burger. I don't know if you've seen, Shukri. The print ads were all like really like rotting burgers and all this, to emphasize that their fast food is not doesn't have, what do you call that, preservatives. So like
I see. So it can rot.
Yeah, so they want to kind of emphasize that. So I've got a bunch of questions around this whole idea of using something that's negative, in the sense of like, look at this ugly rotting burger, but it's making a point about the brand. So there were several questions that kind of revolve around the idea of how likely is it that brands would accept this kind of potentially negative idea, because it can go very wrong if it's
I agree. I agree. Like I said, from the beginning, I always stem from the brand. Okay, what do they stand for? If I can recall, okay, the Whopper, is that the Whopper burger? Burger King.
I think so. Yeah.
Burger King has got that kind of attitude from previously. 20 years ago, they have this one old lady calling, and they come and eat the burger, and then suddenly there's not much beef. So she screamed, "Where's the beef? Where's the beef?" She was screaming that, where's the beef? Because Burger King, I get the real beef. This one Whopper, I got no beef. So that's the brand attitude, So if they have established for the past 30 years that the brand has got the attitude, so they're brave enough to be able to go the angle. To them, it's not negative. To them, it's being truthful. They say, no, I'm not using preservative. My burger rots. I say my burger can rot, but we sell fresh one. You know, the kind of thing. But not like some other guys. They sell with preservative. Their burger can rot. Look at what happen if you don't eat their burger. That's the attitude. That's what they want to get from the consumer. That's my guess. Okay, my guess. I haven't seen any one of them just yet. That's my guess because I understand previously they're always like that. Yeah, they're always like that because they also have one campaign for once. They put a camera at one store of Burger King, you know, people walk in ordering Whopper. He said, we don't have Whopper. We don't have burger. We don't sell Whopper anymore. So everybody was genuinely frustrated because I come here for Whopper. That means you don't have Whopper. That means, you know, Whopper, everybody was frustrated. So they just to demonstrate that how much people love the Whopper. When we stop selling the Whopper, people start protesting and look at it. Oh man, people got angry. Look at it. So I mean, only a what do you call it? Brave enough to be able to do that. You say not? Consumer coming and say no Whopper. You know, people say, you know, they can. Would you do that? No, something like that. You know. So that I think they have taken that route. They have established themselves as a brand in terms of that kind of attitude. So they have the license to do that. Maybe if you take Kentucky Fried Chicken doing that, you see my chicken rot, best lah. You know, because Kentucky Fried Chicken is such wholesome, it's finger licking good, it's about delicious, about, you know, you're talking about rot. I don't want to lick my finger lah. You know, it doesn't fit. You know, Burger King, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm just recall, their attitude is like that. They're crude a bit. They're crude a bit. So they can say that. They can claim that. So people who love Burger King understand that probably. So probably because we don't. I mean, here Burger King is not so. It's not so much of the Whopper thing, you know. So Burger King is Whopper. McDonald's is Big Mac. So the hero is Whopper. Here, I think the hero is not so much. So people cannot relate. Probably your students also. I also feel the same. Why you do that kind of thing? You know, wrong. But they're just trying to prove a point. We don't use preservative. So which is a good point. But depending on the creative strategy, how do you want to deliver that? It's based on the brand attitude. As simple as that. You know, that's what I've been stressing. And don't forget about your brand central idea. People will accept you based on what your central idea stands for. You know, those kind of things. So
okay,
yeah,
actually that's a very good point. I think about the Burger King brand because it does, like you said,
exactly.
whole thing. Okay, hang on, let me see. Anyone else in the room wants to add a question? If not, I'll take one more from my existing questions.
Hi, Miss. I would like to ask
Go
a
ahead,
question. So we've been talking about a lot like building creative strategy for products. I would like to ask, is there any difference between building creative strategy for products and NGOs? Like, what is the key elements to attract donors or like attract sponsors?
And NGO has got a very focus in terms of what their objectives are. Okay, product can do a lot of things. Product can sell a lot of things. Yeah, my product can do this, my product can run, my product can jump, my product can swim, my product can drown, whatever. But NGO is like, I want to help the poor. What kind of poor? I want to help the unfortunate. What kind of unfortunate? You know, I mean, very specific. Find an angle which not about your NGO, about the consumer that touch their heart most. Okay, if you do, maybe you work with some some people who want to do, who want to contribute, doing you a nice film. I mean, start talking to people like that. It's not you communicate you don't have money. You know, NGO don't have money. When you have money, make sure you go to whatever that you need to help, rather than just spending on the communication kind of thing. Go and find agencies and say, you want to win award of brilliant advertising. Here's a brief. come up with me when ad the kind of thing so that I can start. And then you go start knocking door, whatever, to be able to advertise or to Facebook, play a nice film, the kind of thing. Because NGO is very focused, you know. If you're talking about tigers, the Malayan tigers, oh, what else is that? Some people couldn't care less. Oh, yo, I got a lot of people to feed. Why you feed a tiger? So that's not the people that you're talking to. You know, don't worry about these people. Don't address these people. Ignore them. Okay, but there are people who love animal. No problem. But find people who find the idiosyncrasies, the characteristics of people who love cats, big cats included, the kind of thing, and then talk to these people. Talk to this mindset. That's what I mean by mindset. Okay, if you're about abused child, the kind of thing, talk about people who care about child. Some people just don't care about children. You know, children just just drop in front of them that they couldn't care less. They can't think, oh, don't talk about these people. We don't talk to these people. We talk to people who care about people, who care about child. Whatever. How do we care about child? Don't talk about people abusing. So always think about the consumer you want to appeal to. What is the best? Especially NGO, don't touch so much of the head, touch the heart. When you communicate to the heart. The right, the copy, whatever, those kind of things, you know. That is a strategy to me. The tactics is a lot of things. How you get through whatever kind of things. Always talk to the heart. Even the brands are all talking to the heart now, you know, because we choose a brand based on the heart. It's not about the head. You know, sometimes it's more expensive. But it's okay lah, you know, but I think it's better lah because I don't mind paying more. There's a heart already talking. It's not the head anymore. You're talking about the head. I don't care lah whatever brand I just pay. It's only 50 cents. Why should I pay $5? Right? Yeah, that's a head talking. So is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Any other questions? Just got 3 minutes left. I think 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyone else? If not, questions answered. Okay, then. I think we shall let you go, Shukri. Thank you so much for your sharing today, for all the examples, for all your telling us about your experiences. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate the questions because I can only recall whatever I can share based on questions. If not, I cannot remember everything because I've gone through too many years, too long. So it's nice to recall all the stuff and be able to share again. Yeah. Is next week with the same group or?
Yes, pretty much. We'll see you again next week to talk about your interview expectations.
Yeah. Prepare a lot more questions because I don't have much to share with slides because there's no theory about how to get interview or to get a job, you know. I can only share in terms of how I hire and fire people. I'm not that nice also, okay? So I mean let me share why I fire also so that you know what to prepare.
That's a very good point.
Okay.
Thanks, Shukri.
Okay, thank you.
We'll end here. Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah, thank everyone. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe. Bye. Well, okay.